I would like to express my gratitude to Shri Yatin Kakodkar, President International Center of Goa, for the invitation to come here and speak on this important subject, which was selected by my very old friend, but more like an elder brother, Shri Anil Gupta ji, who has always been very kind to me. This subject is very close to my heart, because I feel in fact, right from after doing high school, when I went to the university, in central universities then, students were admitted into pre-university after 10th. So 10+2 system was something. More I heard that India was hub of knowledge, and India attracted students, seekers of knowledge from many parts of the world. More I heard and read these things, more my mind was puzzled that, or I will come to the puzzle later. In the 10th, 11th centuries, when the European Renaissance had not fully taken off, but Middle East, with headquarters at Baghdad, was rife with intellectual activities, and they established an institution which was known as Darul Hikmah, House of Wisdom. Then very early I read that Arabs are given credit for having preserved the Greek knowledge because after Europe became Christian, Plato's academy was locked down, and the contemporary ruler of the Roman Empire was Justinian, and this Abbasi ruler wrote to him saying that all your documents are under lock, this academy has been closed, so can you give some of these books to us? The history books have documented that the meeting of the council continued for 3 days, and they finally decided that Arabs are on their political ascendancy, they are on the rise, and this is pagan knowledge, so let us give all the books to them, hoping that it will have a negative impact on them. And the books, history books show that this caravan of camels was miles long, which carried the books from there to Baghdad, which were translated into Arabic, and then in later period, these books were, the original Greek books written in Greek were lost finally. And now these books which are available to us have been retranslated into European languages. But what people do not know, and it is not mentioned much, is that much before these Greek books came to them, it were the Indian books. A man named Kanak, who was a scholar from Sindh, he carried a bag load of books to Baghdad, and when the books, and this is almost 50 years before the Greek books came there for translation, and one book in particular, Surya Siddhant, when it was read out to Mansoor, because the Greek thing happened during the time of Mansoor's son, Mansoor's grandson, Harun Rashid, and this was Mansoor, was the caliph. When Indian books reached there, some portions of the book were read out to them. They were translated and read out to him. And Mansoor was absolutely fascinated. And he wanted this book to be translated into Arabic. Book was translated. Arabs were ruling both the Middle East and the Spain. The ruler in Spain also came to know about this translation. He was keen to get a copy of this book, but their relations were not cordial. There was hostility among these two branches. Therefore, the history books say that he paid huge bribe to the scribes to supply him one copy of Surya Siddhant, which was the English translation was renamed as Hind Sindh. And then later that book was translated into almost every European language. And that book became the basis for the space and astronomical studies of the Europe. So if the question which used to haunt me was that if we were the knowledge hub of the world, even one more, I think I should make one more point before again I come to this question. All the Arab historians of 10th, 11th century, the first historian is Tabari, and the historians who came later, they have written 8, 9, 10 volumes of the world history, and almost every one of them has asserted that there are 5 civilizations, dominant civilizations in the world. All other people, they follow one or the other. And these 5 civilizations, Persia is known for its majesty, Chinese are known for their craftsmanship and obedience to the rulers, Romans for their chivalry, beauty, Turks for their bravery, and India is the only civilization which is known for promotion of knowledge and wisdom. Each one of them has mentioned this. So I used to wonder, how come people who were known for promoting knowledge and wisdom, which was India, which was hub of knowledge and wisdom, how come we have been treated so cruelly by the history? Because we have, when the period of decline and fall started, that anybody with an adventurous spirit would move into any part of India and would take over the land and rule over the people there. So how come this thing happened? Finally, I found the answer in the speeches of Swami Vivekananda I posed this question to my teachers. I did not find a satisfactory answer. But in the speeches of Swami Vivekananda, and particularly in the writings of Swami Ranganathananda, who was chief of the Ramakrishna mission for quite some time, he died about 10 years ago. He has written that there is no doubt that we were, in fact our civilization should be described as knowledge civilization. We were the hub. We attracted scholars from all over the country, from many parts of the world. In fact, our thought leaders, they had envisioned India to be a place where people, scholars will come to understand, study and understand not only India, but to understand and study their own traditions and their own culture. They will come to India. What does that mean? That we will have scholars of such repute that a European will come to study about Europe to India, or an Arab will come to India. Etat desha parshu tasya sakashada graj anmana swam swam charitram shikcheram prithviyam sarvam anam. This is what our thought leaders had envisaged, the role for India. But Swami Ranganathananda ji says that there is no doubt that we were knowledge civilization. But unfortunately, during the period of decline and fall, we paid lip service. And he quotes from Srimad Bhagavad to highlight the point which he is making there. Saraswati Gyan Khalv Yatha Sati. A scholar who confines knowledge which she has acquired within herself and does not share with others, then that scholar is not a devotee of Saraswati, he is a villain of Saraswati. So according to Swami Ranganathananda, our society became vulnerable because we start keeping knowledge from masses. We denied access to knowledge. And Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore has said it so beautifully. He says, India cannot attain true independence unless it is recognized that her foundation is in mind, which with its diverse powers and confidence in those powers goes on all the time creating Swaraj for itself. Because when you build a civilization based on knowledge, a civilization based on material progress, there can be limits. But a civilization based on knowledge, every day you have to explore new areas. You have to continue. I mean, it's an always ongoing task. And I would again like to quote Gurudev. He said, I love India. Not because I cultivate the idolatry of geography. Not because I have had the good fortune to be born in her soil. But because she has, through tumultuous ages, saved the living words which issued from the illuminated consciousness of her children. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma, Shantam, Shivam, Advaita. The peace which India envisions is not a negative concept, nor a mechanical adjustment. This peace is in goodness, Shivam. This peace is in perfect unity, integration of personality. That is Advaitam. In fact, the highest ideal of human life, according to our ancient thought leaders, is integration of personality, which reconciles an individual with his own self, with the society, and if you believe, with the Supreme Being. This civilization does not insist it is necessary to believe. You believe in yourself, that is enough. But integration of personality. Why? Because of all the, and please do not think even for a moment that I am criticizing any other civilization. No. Like every individual, every people, every civilization, they grow according to their own genius. I am talking about our civilization, not trying to, not even trying to compare with others, but only as a subject matter of study. These civilizations world over were defined either by the color of the skin, the race you belong to, the language which you speak, or mostly just before and during the medieval period by the faith tradition. How you express, if you are a believer, then how you express your devotion to the deity in which you believe. They became the defining paradigm of various civilizations. India, our thought leaders, whom we call rishis or munis, they also chose a defining paradigm. But it was not an exclusive characteristic like race, color, language, because if it is defined by race, then all other people will be excluded. Similar is the case with language, similar is the case with faith tradition. What the Indian thought leaders did, they defined Indian culture, Indian civilization through Atma, the soul. Aham Brahmasmi Tattvamasi. Many a times we hear that India was politically fragmented. It was. Even in 1947, there were more than 500, if I remember correctly, 567 states. It was no easy task to integrate them into one union, to make them merge with the Indian Union. Even the Indian Union itself was so full of, you leave the princely states outside, the rest of India, which was under the British, was so full of diversities. And it has been rightly said that unless you understand the culture, you can't understand culture of a people. You can't understand their politics. India was deeply, deeply fragmented politically. But no one denies, and no one can deny, that India was culturally and spiritually one entity. Maybe we were not, because the political unity was not there and the area is so large, Maybe we were not even aware of that. But a young man, difficult to say whether he had reached that age where he could have been described as man. He was still a boy, young. A young boy from Kerala goes on this pilgrimage. He creates 4 mutts in different parts of the country. We often hear that Adi Shankaracharya, by establishing these mutts, he created the cultural and spiritual unity of India. I do not know what was the size of the building of those mutts, but buildings do not bring about unity. Ideas bring about unity. What Shankaracharya did, he chose one Mahabhagya from one Veda and gave it to one mutt. Another Mahabhagya from another Veda to another mutt. And all 4 Mahabhagyas which he selected from the Vedas, which he gave to 4 different mutts, they all mean the same thing. Am Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, Prajnanam Brahma, Ayam Atma Brahma, made everyone aware that we are spiritually interlinked. Swami Vivekananda has so beautifully said. He said, what is the purpose of life? You want to live happily, pursuit of happiness? He said, Indian tradition does not endorse it. The purpose of life is not pursuit of happiness. Purpose of life is pursuit of knowledge. Tapa swadhyaya niritam. Ever devoted to the pursuit of knowledge. And then the question arises, what is the purpose of knowledge? Then he replies that the purpose of knowledge is that even the children of the same parents, they do not look similar. So purpose of knowledge is to develop the ability, the capability, the capacity to see the underlying unity, the apparent diversity, underlying the apparent diversity. Everyone looks different. Everyone has different thinking. But underlying that, there is a strong undercurrent of unity. And that is why the integration of personality has been accepted to be one of the highest ideal of human life according to Indian tradition. So this, and the fact is that I do not want to go back to where what Swami Ranganathanandaji has said, that a period has passed in which we became unfamiliar with our own ethos. We became unfamiliar with our own traditions. It was because our culture and civilization was defined by Atma. Therefore, unlike world over, the other means who does not speak the same language as I speak, who does not worship in the same manner as I do, whose color of the skin is not the same as mine. The other always created apprehensions in the mind of the people of any area. But India was one place which we always believed. Earlier I said that our civilizational journey started with the recognition that diversity is the law of nature. The diversity does not discomfit us. Rather, we believed firmly. The Rig Veda declared, and that is the first book. Ekam sad vipra bahuda vadanti. The truth is one and one only. But those who seek the truth, those who realize the truth, those who experience the truth, they describe it variously. We always believed that one single interpretation of reality cannot be imposed on everybody. We always believed in the freedom of spirit. Tiyaj dekam pulsyarthe, gram syarthe, kulam teje, gramam janpat syarthe, atmarthe prithvi teje. I should be ready to sacrifice myself for the family for my village, the village for my district, district for my state, state for my country. But as far as your freedom of conscience, freedom of spirit is concerned, then you should be ready to renounce even the whole world, but uphold that freedom of spirit. India always believed in that. We had very robust, very sturdy belief in the integration of the personality and at the same time in the freedom of spirit. To my mind, these are the essential features or foundational virtues of Bhartiyata, where I do not feel uncomfortable in the company of those who are different from me. I have the confidence to interact with anybody without losing my own moorings. Then a universal vision, that again is I've already crossed 30 minutes, sorry. ठीक है, मैं 2, 4, 5, 10 मिनट. We always had, at a time when our own country was politically fragmented, when hardly any means of effective communication were available, people had to walk on feet. Even at that point of time, our thought leaders had a universal vision. Ayam nich paroveti garna laku cheta sam udar charita naam tu vasudev kutumbka samudra paryantaya prithviya ek raj vishwam vishnu. We saw because again go back to that spiritual spiritual interconnectedness. How come we became unfamiliar with our own ethos, our own way? Look, today in the world, last 100, 150 years, outstretch it at few more decades. The whole world has become pluralistic or is in the process of becoming pluralistic. But this development is not very old. India has been pluralistic. We not only accepted diversity as law of nature, our thought leaders exhorted us to be respectful for the diversity. In Jain Darshan, there suddenly came to my mind, there is a beautiful story. Anekantvad, diversity, is one of the basic principles of Jainism. In Sanatan, the word used is Bahuda. In Jainism, they have used word Anekantvad, Siyadvad, some more words. But there is a beautiful anecdote which highlights that large-heartedness, breadth of mind. Acharya Hemchandra was a very prominent Jain Muni. And because of his erudition and learning, the ruler of that part of Gujarat where he lived, he developed a special liking for him. And he will, most of the occasions, he would call him to the court and show great respect to him, which made other scholars in the court jealous of Acharya Hemchandra. On one occasion, he decided, Raja Kumarpal, name of the Raja was Kumarpal. Raja decided to go on pilgrimage to Dwarka. Now these scholars of his court, they were very happy that Acharya Hemchandra is Jain. If Raja Kumarpal will perform all the rituals, including Aarti, and he is insisting that Acharya Hemchandra should accompany him, and he will expect him also to perform the same rituals, which are not exactly in accord with the Jain tenets. So either it will be embracement for him or he will lose respect. Embracement, if he does it, then he will do something which his own tradition does not allow. And if he does it, then his own crisis. If he does not do it, then he will lose affection of Raja Kumarpal. So, as they thought, it happened exactly on the same lines. After performing the Aarti, Kumarpal handed over that tray, thali, to Acharya Hemchandra. Acharya Hemchandra very respectfully took the Aarti in his hand and he said, Bhav Bijam Janna Raga Diya Chema Pagutu Yas Brahma Vishnu Vaharo Jinova Namastasma. He said, I am not bothered whether the name is Brahma or Vishnu or Hari or Jin, whatever name, I pay my salutes to that Veet Ragatma. In Sanatan tradition, it has been repeatedly said, Janardanova, Maheshwarova. You take Akashat Patitam Toya, Yatha Gacchati Sagar, Sarva Deva Namaskara, Keshavam Priti Gacchati. Like every drop which falls from the skies rushes towards ocean, similarly, you pay obeisance to any name of your choice of the God. But whatever devotion you express, ultimately it reaches that one who cannot be given any name, who is agrahyam, alakshanam, achintayam, avyapadeshyam, ekatma pirtiya yasaram pirpanchopashamam. It is not possible to describe that Supreme Being. So basically, Bhartiyata, if I sum up the whole thing, then it means that we respect, accept diversity. We do not feel uncomfortable in the company for us, because we believe that we are all. The other people may think otherwise, but an Indian, he knows that the life which an Indian is living is not the only life. Your faith in karma leads to many lives. And I would like to conclude with an anecdote which comes from Anand Ramaya. And I think which sums up beautifully what Bhartiyata stands for. After Bhagwan Ram came back to Ayodhya, established his rule, and everybody was happy, Ram Raj, a dog comes to his court and complains to him that he has been hurt without reason by so and so. An inquiry was ordered immediately, and it was found that the allegation of the dog was absolutely right. And this man who had hurt the dog was a temple priest. So Bhagwan Ram asked the dog that I would like to know from you what punishment should be given to this man, because your complaint, whatever you have said is right. He said he is an ordinary priest in the temple. I want him to be promoted and be made as head priest. Then everybody in the court laughed, and they asked him, have you come here to get him punished, or you have come here to get him promoted? He said, you are all human beings, but your Atma is not Chaitanya. I did something nasty in my last birth. Because of that, I am what I am today. But I still have, my merits are so many that I still have Chaitanya Atma. I know what I was in my earlier birth, I know what I was before that. And in my last birth, I was the head priest of a temple. And because I was head priest, therefore I had no accountability. And when you have no accountability, then you are likely to do stupid things. So what is this punishment? This punishment is very small. I have received the punishment that despite having lived on so many merits, because of some one act, I have to live this life of dog. That is no punishment if he is devoted as a priest. I want him to become head priest. Nobody will be able to stop him from committing things which will land him in the same situation as today I am in. And that will be the real punishment. So if we take all these things into consideration, the one thing, if we really believe in these ideals, if we uphold these ideas, if we internalize these principles, if we translate them into action, then no one can dare step on the feet of the other person. Because I know that my culture tells me that what goes around comes around. And that is why I feel so confident. India is now being recognized as the emerging power all over the world. But howsoever powerful and mighty India becomes, nobody in the world will feel apprehensive. Nobody in the world will have any feeling of any threat from us. Because our cultural values do not allow us to trespass into another century. If you remember, Prime Minister last 15th August, he talked about 5 principles, and one of them, to my mind, the important one is that he talked about our cultural legacy. We should try to become more aware, more familiar of the great legacy which we have. But it is absolutely fatal to rest in the consciousness of what we have inherited. We need to build on our inheritance and move towards new achievements. Thank you very much. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Jai Hind.